Army veteran. I served in Desert Shield, Desert Storm, Joint Task Force, Guantanamo Bay. My very first patients at George Washington University in 1985 were men with Kaposi sarcoma and pneumocystis pneumonia. We didn't know what was going on. Those patients got a lot more personal attention and a lot more compassion than we ever saw with a COVID patient in any hospital in this country, regardless of their HCAHPS scores. I still have privileges at 5 different hospitals. I am on call, as I said, 24/7, and during this Operation COVID-19, I have to say, I'm going to be 65 this year, I never worked harder as an Army soldier. And all these guys behind me, all these nurses know, we never worked harder as men and women in the medical profession than we did during the Delta variant. So I'm not here to condemn at all anybody, but I'm here to give a little bit of insight and try to calm things down because, you know, I had to do a lot of praying before I drove here. My first patient was at 8 o'clock this morning in Ocala, Florida. My next patient will be at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning in Ocala, Florida. And I worked until 10 o'clock last night. I'll work until 10 o'clock tonight. That's what I do because I love my patients, because there's no hope without, there's no healing without hope, there's no healing without relationship, and both of those things were in the gutter during the Delta variant. So let me give you a few quick stories because I only have a couple of minutes.
One minute, please.
Okay. Let me tell you about the mayor and the car salesman, New Year's Eve, 2020. Car salesman comes into one hospital, he's refused ivermectin, he spends 3 months in the hospital, he survives. He says to me after he got my car for my daughter, I survived because of you coming to see me every day when I couldn't see my kids. He's the only parent, 2 kids, 12 and 15. The mayor calls me, he's hypoxic, chief of police, fire department. He's got the Delta variant. He gets into another hospital, guess what he gets? He gets ivermectin. All right? The only patient in the entirety of the Delta variant got ivermectin legally. Let me tell you about the wife, the persistent wife, who I gave her ivermectin. She insisted on staying with her husband. He was in the hospital for another 3 months. He walked out of that hospital because she gave him ivermectin. Let me tell you about the new mom. When the obstetrician called me, I actually talked to the other obstetrician, said, you know anyone that can treat a woman with COVID? I go to this woman's bedside after giving birth to her baby. She works as a nurse across the street at the other hospital. I'm not mentioning any names. She went to the ER with COVID. They said, wait, come back when you're under 90% oxygen saturation. She was admitted for her baby, C-section. I walk in there. She's blue as can be, no O2 sats. Excuse me, sir. 72% pulse ox and nothing being done. I took ivermectin out of my pocket. I gave it to her. Now, I got dozens of cases I can't share with you, but let me just tell you this. One more minute, sir. No. I took 2.5 hours here. Just let me say this. We are not noise. We are not noise. I want to tell you this. If you're going to be the best, be the first to admit wrongdoing in all humility and realize, just realize that these lives would have been, just think of all the patients' lives that would have been spared. And I was disciplined for giving ivermectin. I've been fined $500. I've been suspended 2 weeks. I've been on the American Board of Family Medicine, the Florida Department of Health, in 2 hospitals.
Thank you.
You're taking care of patients.
Here they are throwing him out.
And we use an independent third party.
He can't stay in the meeting. He's got to go. The police. They call the police on him to throw him out. Isn't that amazing? This is what this has become. The people who will kill you, the hospital administrators who will kill you for money, and the police who back them up. Now he's talking to Chris Nelson outside.
No, it is not. I think you're a good guy, right? All right. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, you got to get off a hospital ground.
Good work, guys. Just God bless you. All right.
Can you tell me why Dr. Littell got kicked out of the meeting? What just happened in there, Dr. Littell? And first of all, tell us who you are, what's going on here, and what just happened.
I'm a family doc. I work in Ocala, Florida this morning. I drove down here just to give a voice for the voiceless, the people who were treated unfairly during COVID, worse than unfairly. My own experience as a doctor caring for patients in 4 hospitals. And I have to tell you, Sarasota did an amazing job of allowing people to have a voice today, although they cut our time down at the last minute to 3 minutes, and in my case, 2.5 minutes. So I didn't get to say what I wanted to say because I was only given 2.5 minutes to really speak about my concerns. What happened just now was that there's a wonderful board member who I just met for the first time. I went up to her after the meeting, or I thought it was near the end of the meeting. I just asked her if there was any chance I could say something more because I had been cut short. And I wanted to say, had I had a few more minutes to say, she herself voiced the fact that there's doctors on staff at this hospital who will not speak their mind because for fear of retribution, for fear of losing their job. And what I wanted to tell her as a doctor who's taken care of other physicians with COVID for the last 3 years, other physicians, cardiologists, pathologists, obstetricians, pediatricians calling me for ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, but they wouldn't ever let anyone know. This is what's happened. The hospitalists, even in this hospital, do not want people to know where they stand because they are fearful of eventually being kicked out of either the hospital or their own groups. So the reason I came here, all I said, because I'm wearing this white coat, I represent myself and most importantly, my contract with my patients. See, that's different. Hospital anymore, 99% of doctors have a contract, an exclusive contract with the hospital, or they're employed by the hospital. They cannot speak their minds freely. But what do they do when they had COVID, especially during Delta? They called doctors like me all over the state. I got calls from doctors and lawyers and mayors and teachers, and I just treated them with the stuff that I knew worked and kept them out of the hospital. So what happened here tonight was simply, I guess I violated protocol. I have to confess, I have not ever been at a hospital board meeting, ever. I've been chief of staff, but not this kind of meeting where I thought I could walk up and just say thank you for what the lady said, and the treatment I got was for half a dozen, uniformed folks to initially walk me out of there, and then say I had to leave the entire premises of the hospital as though I'm some kind of a criminal.